Talk about a once in a lifetime experience. That's what attending the Bhagwat Katha felt like for me. If you haven't watched the previous video, I would highly recommend doing so. I take you guys through my full journey of attending the Bhagwat Katha for 7 days. But of course, there was so much being learned that it was tough to combine the learnings and the experience into one video. So this is why we're making a part 2 specifically for you to learn about the key takeaways from this once in a lifetime experience. I mentioned it briefly in the previous video as to how the Bhagwat Katha originated. It's basically when Raja Parikshit was given a curse that he will be bit by a cobra and go to hell in 7 days. So to be able to alleviate himself of this curse, he decided to reach out to Sukadevji and go through a ritual. Basically, what Sukadevji decided was to tell him the story of Krishnji over a span of 7 days, and this will ensure that Raja Parikshit reaches salvation. And during a sit-down discussion with my mother, I actually got to learn why she decided to host Bhagwat Katha and go through this very, very stressful yet rewarding journey of hosting this big event. So now we're sitting with my mother, who is the mastermind behind planning the full Bhagwat Katha. I mean, you are the one who is, I would say, single-handedly responsible for why we went through this experience, because if you weren't the one, if you weren't so excited about this, I don't think we would have hosted one, and we wouldn't have been as excited about it either. So I guess I should ask you, why were you so excited about hosting this?
Actually, it is the wish of my mother-in-law to conduct a Bhagwat Katha since my marriage, because it's a long process and you have to do so many arrangements. It took so many years. I was excited because all the near dear ones and the family, they gather. Then we attend all the breakfast, lunch, dinner, Katha, everything together.
It's a great planned holiday.
Yeah,
obviously due to the spiritual and religious aspects as well, but the social aspect is what you were most excited about. Okay, and like you said that it's for my grandmother, your mother-in-law, in terms of why you wanted to host this. So do you think it was a similar thing for her, or is it more of a religious thing for her?
For her, it's more the religious thing to attend that Katha, and also it's an excuse to gather everyone and chat with each other.
So are you able to tell me a little bit more in terms of the actual journey?
Every day we learn about something different stories from our religion.
Now there's 3 main takeaways that we actually took away from the Bhagwat Katha, which is respect, love, and sacrifice. I decided that it would be best to discuss this with my mother, because she's actually the person who has lived through these experiences of putting these learnings into practice and has clearly found a lot of success through this as well. Now within the 3 teachings, sacrifice we found to be the biggest influencer of success and happiness, and this is going to be covered last, so definitely watch till the end to make sure that you get to learn about how to incorporate sacrifice into your own life and how rewarding this might actually be.
Every day there is a different, we learned a different sacrifice, love, respect, and patience. One incident I learned that the Vyasji told that Prasad, he said that we should take in a small amount, like Amrit. If we take it in a large amount, that is like a poison. In our childhood, we always greedy for more. But now I came to know that if the prasad is in a small amount, it's good for your health, and if it's in a large amount, it's like a poison for our body. That teaches you the patience.
Okay.
That we should be patient in whatever we get.
Now, in the story of the Ramji, the ultimate form of love that was showcased was his brother.
We also learn the love and respect of elders from Ramchandraji, how Ramchandraji sacrifices the kingdom and went into the Vanvas to keep the promise of his father. His brother Bharat, he was not ready to accept that kingdom, and Bharat was saying that I am going to serve your kingdom in your absence. I'm not going to become a king of that kingdom. So this is the respect, love, sacrifice for each other, how we learn.
So that was just a very, very wholesome story, and I think it goes to show about the level of love that families and close friendships have the potential of, and something that we should incorporate into our daily life. And in the case of the Bhagwat Katha, we have the story of Sudamaji and Krishnji and their ultimate form of sacrifice towards each other. I actually had the story misunderstood. I thought that Sudamaji became poor because he stole Krishnji's food, but there was a lot more to it than that, and that's where I got to learn the true meaning of sacrifice.
There is a story behind why the Sudama is poor and Krishnji is rich. So in their childhood, where they took their education in an ashram, there was that the Rishi's wife kept food for Sudama and Krishnji. And one Rishi came for asking for food, begging for food, and that the Rishi's wife, the other Rishi's wife, that food she kept for Sudama and Krishna, and she said, "No, I don't have any food." That Rishi knows that she has food, so he said in his mind that who will eat that food will become poor. And it was heard by Sudama. When the Rishi's wife gave food to Sudama and Krishna, he ate quickly the part of also Krishnji because he didn't want that Krishnji will be poor, and he took poverty in his life. So this is the sacrifice, and we should sacrifice for each other.
A lot of people were saying that Sudama had stolen Krishnji's food. That's why he's poor. But now it's clarified to me that it wasn't just that he stole it, but it ultimately was a sacrifice.
Yeah, one more thing we learned here, that if the person have ego, and like Kans, Ravan, their life is going to be end soon. Doesn't matter how much powerful they are.
I know you mentioned a lot of things in terms of what others people should take away, but what would you say is your biggest recommendation for perhaps for me or for perhaps for anybody else?
Number one is patience. Because so many materialistic things making impatient to the young generation. So they want bigger car, bigger phones, bigger like this. So first is the patience, then you will be happy from inner side. And secondly, love your family and near and dears, because they are your people. If you love them, you get blessings. So the blessing make an aura around your body that save you from any outer negative energy.
Yeah.
Your body is not going to gather negative energy. Love. And of course, love also and respect. If you love, you of course you respect them.
And while we've learned these three different key takeaways, what if we fail to follow them? At the end of the previous video, we actually left off at a very, very controversial question. Should you be God loving or God fearing? And that's best told by Pandit Ji.
प्यार से अगर कोई समझ जाता है तो उसके बारे की तो कोई रास्ता ही नहीं है, पर ना माने तो थोड़ा सा डराना पड़ता है। अगर एक डर बिठाने से अगर उसका जीवन बचता है और वो बुरे रास्ते से बचता है तो वो डर उसको डर नहीं कहते। जैसे माँ करती है, माँ बच्चे को 100 चीज़ डराती है ताकि वो बचा रहे।
One of the biggest difficulties that I had while attending the Bhagwat Katha was that there was, of course, the language barrier. I didn't really get to understand the full Katha while I was sitting there. So I'm going to put a couple of links in my description of the summaries of the Bhagwat Katha that were really, really helpful for me to learn. And I hope that you get a chance to read them and learn for yourself as well. But if you have any questions, please comment down below. It would be a lovely discussion that I'd love to partake in. I think it's great for me to continue to reflect about the learnings that I had from the Bhagwat Katha so that I never forget them and continue to incorporate them in my daily life. That's it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. There were so many things that we learned and got to experience through this journey. Thank you for tagging along with me.